You know when a parrot, this gorgeous, incredibly smart creature, suddenly starts biting? It can feel like a total betrayal. I mean, we bring them into our homes, we give them our love, and then, ouch, we're left dealing with this aggression that's not only painful but super confusing. So, is this just a case of a bad bird, or is there something much, much deeper going on? Today, we're going to open the case file on the biting parrot.
A parrot that screams and bites? Is it a problem with its character or with the person? Find out who is really at fault here. In this explainer, we are going to investigate the motives, decode all those warning signs, and really uncover the path to rebuilding that trust you thought was lost.
And hey, if this kind of deep dive is your thing, do me a quick favor and hit that subscribe button. We're always cooking up more explainers just like this one.
Okay, let's get right into it and start with the prime suspect, the parrot itself, right? The first thing everyone thinks is that a biting bird is just mean, or maybe it has a bad personality. But the very first piece of evidence suggests we're actually looking at a classic case of mistaken identity.
And here it is. This is the crucial clue. See, unlike a dog or a cat, animals we've bred for centuries to live with us, the parrot in your living room is genetically the exact same as its cousins out in the Amazon. They are not domesticated. Let me say that again. They are wild animals. They operate on pure, raw instinct and the super complex social rules of a flock, not the rules of a human household. And honestly, this is where almost every single misunderstanding begins.
Okay, so now that we know we're dealing with a wild animal, let's look at the crime itself. So many owners say the same thing. The bite came out of nowhere, no warning at all. But if we look a little closer at the evidence, we'll see that a bite is never random. It's always a message.
So, did it really bite for no reason? Let's be the detectives here for a second. The thing is, parrots are communicating constantly with their body language. The problem is, their signals can be incredibly subtle, and if you don't know what you're looking for, you're going to miss the entire conversation.
A parrot will almost always give you a series of warnings. It starts with really subtle stuff like their pupils rapidly getting bigger and smaller. That's called eye pinning. Or maybe just a tiny little adjustment of their feathers. If you miss that, they'll show you they're uncomfortable more clearly. They'll turn their head away or physically back away from your hand. Then come the direct warnings, the ones that are hard to miss. A hiss, puffing up all their feathers to look huge, or a quick lunge forward. The bite, well, that's step 4. It's their absolute last resort when every other attempt to tell you no has been ignored.
So let's just get this straight because it's so important. A bite isn't the start of a problem. It's the end of a conversation you didn't hear. The aggression isn't the real issue. It's just a symptom of a massive communication breakdown.
So, if a bite is a message, what on earth is the parrot trying to say? Let's start uncovering the motives. Because once you understand the why, the solution becomes so much clearer. And the key here is that all these motives are rooted in pure instinct, not in any kind of malice.
All right, the first major motive is another case of mistaken identity. Only this time, the mistake is on our part. We get this cute, cuddly baby parrot, and we treat it like a little puppy, right? We want to snuggle it and pet it all over, but for a parrot, that sends a very, very different message.
This slide right here illustrates the single biggest mistake so many well-meaning owners make. For a parrot, where you pet them matters a lot. Stroking their head and neck, that's friendship. That's what trusted flock members do for each other. But petting them anywhere else, on their back, under their wings, near their tail, that is pure courtship behavior. You're thinking, I love you, but your parrot is hearing, I want to be your mate. And when you don't, follow through on that, the bird gets confused, sexually frustrated, and can lash out.
And all of that leads us directly into our second motive, hormonal overload. Sometimes, without even realizing it, we create an environment that's just screaming, it's breeding season to our parrots. This sends their hormones into a total frenzy, which makes them super territorial, defensive, and way more likely to bite.
And the triggers are often things we do every day. A diet that's too high in fat or sugar, or even giving them warm, mushy foods can feel like the regurgitation that mating pairs do. Letting them have more than 12 hours of light a day can trick their body into thinking it's spring. Giving them access to dark, cozy little spots like boxes or cabinets, total nesting trigger. And of course, as we just saw, petting them anywhere but their head and neck is a huge one.
Motive number 3 is all about environmental frustration. We have to remember, parrots are crazy smart, like on the level of a toddler or a primate. Now just imagine being that intelligent and being stuck in a small box all day with nothing to do. Boredom, loneliness, fear, a cage that's way too small, it all builds up into this immense frustration that often just explodes as aggression. They need things to do, like foraging toys that make them use their brains to get food.
And finally, motive number 4, pair bonding. Oh yeah, this is the classic one-person bird situation. Your parrot has decided that you are its mate. And in its bird brain, that relationship is exclusive. So when your husband or your kid or your friend gets too close, the parrot isn't just being a jerk. It's instinctively defending its chosen partner from what it sees as a rival. Those bites are meant to drive the competition away.
So, when you look at all the evidence, the verdict is pretty clear, isn't it? The culprit isn't malice, it's misunderstanding. The parrot isn't really at fault, it's just a wild animal acting on instincts that we, the humans, have totally failed to understand. But the good news is, once we get the motives, we can find the solution. We can absolutely rebuild that bond of trust.
So here it is, your path to a better bond, and it all comes down to respecting their true nature. First, you have to learn their body language so you can finally hear that conversation they're trying to have. Respect their boundaries, head and neck petting only. Beat boredom with plenty of toys that make them think. Manage their hormones by giving them 10 to 12 hours of total darkness for sleep. And adjust their diet. This is critical. Never, ever punish a bite. That just destroys trust. Use positive reinforcement instead. And maybe most importantly of all, always give them a choice. Don't force them to interact.
In the end, this whole thing boils down to a huge shift in how we see them. Which brings us to our final question, and it's a big one. Are you trying to be an owner, commanding a pet to do what you want? Or are you willing to become a flock member, learning to communicate and understand a wild, intelligent, and absolutely fascinating partner? Because the answer to that question, well, that will define your entire relationship.